Hey guys, Mahal everyone, 40 the Broadway Saiyan here, and welcome back again to my YouTube channel, bringing you guys another video on Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. In this video, we're going to be touching up on the topic of ARANEA again. Now, the purpose of this video is to be like a post-ARANEA debut, overall thoughts about the character, how I feel about it. And I will let you guys know that this video is not scripted, just like how my other videos were scripted, but this one is not, because I just want to keep it that way, keep it a little bit more casual while you guys watch some ARANEA gameplay footage there, tackling, I believe, that is the Golbez Lost Chapters Chaos. But the purpose of this video is to kind of give you guys my overall thoughts after the character has already been out for a few days. And upon the making of this video, the banner is still live. So if you guys are still on the fence about pulling for this character, whether or not she is worth it, hopefully this video helps you guys out. Now, the first things that I do want to talk about this character are going to be her flaws or her issues. And the reason why I want to talk about it that way first is when she first got released and when they first released the trailers for her abilities, I was one of those many who were guilty of hyping her up, and rightfully so. She's a second global first. It's an exciting time to celebrate Dissidia Opera Omnia Global 2nd anniversary, so that's why I was hyping her up. And the hype was there. She was very powerful, but I want to give a fair assessment of the character, starting off with some of her weaknesses. So to start things off, one of the biggest issues I see with ARANEA, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys will agree with this, is the durations on her framed buffs. The buff that she gets, the high-speed maneuvers from her EX ability, only has a 3-turn duration. Now, the effects of that is it gives her additional crit damage, and it also gives her that really awesome effect of every time she breaks a target, she gets to take a free consecutive turn. Now, because it has that, I guess they hampered it a little bit, same thing like with King's buff from his EX, where after you take this consecutive free turn, you can't take another one if you break during the free turn, which makes sense. And I was wondering if they were actually going to address that in the initial video, because I was like, if they didn't and it worked differently, that would be so broken. But I think it's a balance thing. So realistically, because this buff only lasts for 3 turns, you get 2 free turns out of it, unless you're using somebody with ARANEA that extends the duration of any kind of active buffs. So you get 2 free uses, which is still good, but that's a 3-turn duration, which unfortunately it's kind of low. And then second of all, her overclock buff, which is undoubtedly her most important buff, only has a 4-turn duration. Now, I know it can be extended by 2 turns if you use the plus variant of her EX ability, but her entire kit revolves around that, because having overclock gives her an attack boost. It adds 30% overflow to all of her abilities, and it upgrades her abilities to their plus variants. It upgrades her EX, her skill 1 and skill 2, and also her special commands with her brave and HP attacks to their plus variants. Now, with a 4-turn duration, that's not a very long time to really maximize the amount of damage that she can do. And one of the things that I see with this buff that's also an issue is that the plus variants of her abilities do not refresh it. So in a sense, ARANEA has to reset herself during specific turns, so then that way she could reapply it. Now, I am glad that they did give her C65 ability, set overclock, so that she can actually just set the buff again for 4 turns, but that 4-turn duration is a little bit of a problem, and also the fact that her plus variants of her abilities and all of her commands cannot refresh that buff at all. And then lastly, her third unique buff, which is the Magitech Armament. She gets another attack boost, max brave speed. She also gets that nice brave regen, which gives her a little bit of brave sustainability. It has 6 turns, which is better than the other 2, but I kind of wish for a frame buff that gives her a little bit more, like sustainability, would last a little bit longer, since if you plan on using her without a battery, it would be nice for that to last a little bit longer. So 6 turns on that is fair, but I feel like it could have been maybe a little bit longer on that one. But it is what it is. They tried to balance the character out. So that's one issue that I see with her, the duration of her buffs. Another issue that I see is that she does not have any supportive party utility. Now, the reason why I say supportive is because she does have party utility, but in a different sort of way, and this is how I personally feel about it. But like, she has no auras that she gives to the party. There are some offensive characters out there that do provide some kind of aura that either comes from their frame buffs or comes from their passives. ARANEA has none of that. Everything is just for her, so she's kind of selfish when it comes to that case. So I kind of wish she had a little bit of party utility, supportive party utility, but that is, again, another one of her issues. And then the debuff that she has on her skill 2 High Wind, while as powerful as it is, that 2-turn duration can be a little bit of an issue, especially because she can only apply it to one target. So if you want this applied to multiple targets, she has to specifically target each one just to apply it. So that could be another issue that could be seen with this character. Now, we've talked about her issues, at least the issues that I've seen with the character. Let's go ahead and talk about why the character is just busted OP. First of all, we see that she deals an enormous amount of damage. She has a very high base attack and max brave stat, which is already crazy. And then to top it off, she has ways to boost her attack with her buffs, and she also has ways to boost her crit. So this character not only just deals a lot of damage, but she has everything that a damage dealing unit could possibly want to make them outshine any of the rest of the other damage dealing units. Let's take a look at a unit like Squall. Squall deals a lot of damage. Squall, has buffs to himself, but that's literally all he does. He just does a lot of damage, and that's it. Aranea does a lot of damage, but hey, you want a delay? Oh, there you go. Skill 1 has a 2-turn delay. Oh, you want somebody that can unbreak so that they can break the target again? Well, then there you go. Aranea has that. Oh, you want somebody that has really powerful buffs to herself that are framed, that need to be dispelled to be removed by the enemies? Well, then there you go. Aranea has that. Oh, you want somebody with an OP HP attack plus command? Aranea has that as well. You want somebody with high overflow? Aranea has that as well. So Aranea, for somebody that straight up just dishes out a lot of damage, got exactly what a damage dealing unit wanted to become really, really viable and really, really strong for this mid-chaos era, all the way up until a very long time, maybe like when we hit like the earlier parts of Burst era. So that's one of her pluses. Now, I was talking about the party utility, and her party utility comes from that Vital Crusher debuff. Now, I know I was complaining about the 2-turn duration, but if you take a look at what the buff does, it guarantees critical hits on that target, not just by Aranea, but by the rest of your party. So the rest of your party, as long as they're targeting that enemy that is inflicted with Vital Crusher, they're going to be dealing critical hits, and they get an increased 50% extra crit damage on that target. So pretty much what Aranea does with this debuff is, the reason why I say she provides offensive utility is because she allows your party to hit their damage cap almost frequently. Like if you run her with characters such as like Zac can deal a lot of damage if he's being targeted, and you have Vital Crusher on that target, that's a lot of damage that Zac is going to be piling on. He'll be hitting those overflows a lot more often. Use somebody like Sephiroth, who's another hard-hitting damage dealing unit. Yeah, Sephiroth's going to be hitting those overflows. He's going to be hitting that damage cap pretty easily. So that's one of the utility options that I see that Aranea was given with that debuff. She gives a very good offensive utility. And then to top it off, another plus that she has is her longevity. Now, I know people were questioning this, but to be honest, Aranea is the kind of character where, unless you're using her outside of Chaos, you kind of got to play her with a little bit more advanced understanding of how the game works, because you can't just, it would be so much easier to play her just by spamming High Wind and then going into Dragoon Dive, High Wind, Dragoon Dive. But the thing is that for Chaos fights, you got to be a little bit smarter with your choices as far as ability or skill management. And this is where her Brave Attack Plus, her Boost Lance and High Boost Lance comes into play. Believe it or not, those two transformed abilities with her plus variants are extremely powerful just from coming off of her base commands, especially that High Boost Lance. She hits all targets, and she does splash damage to the other targets, and then does the maximum amount of damage that she can do to the other target that's being targeted. It has overflow, okay, and it's just a really, really good option to prolong Aranea for some of the longer Chaos fights. So this is why I say she actually has good longevity. You just have to play her properly. So those are going to be some of the things that I've seen with Aranea that are just crazy good. She dishes out a lot of damage. She has a lot of different shenanigans to control turns, to delay. She also has offensive utility that she could provide to your party, and she is definitely a character that I could see lasting up until the early parts of Burst era. She's really, really strong, and if you guys still haven't had a chance to pull for her, I highly recommend that you try and pull this character, because she really is that strong. Like, she is heads and shoulders above everybody else right now in Opera Omnia. Maybe not above Zac, just because Zac is such a versatile tank right now, and tanks I put a little bit higher on the priority list as far as characters who you want to invest in first. But Aranea, for being a damage dealer with everything that she has with her kit, she's just absolutely amazing to have. Now, What if you are unlucky with Aranea after her banner leaves? Or what if you're the person that just doesn't care for Aranea and you're like, I don't care if I have her gear or not? What are the alternatives to Aranea that we're going to be seeing in the future of the game? Well, the first alternative that I can let you guys know of that is similar to Aranea is going to be Lightning when she gets her EX Plus weapon. Because Lightning, when she gets her EX Plus weapon, also gets access to free turns, and she already has the delay on it, and she's going to be much more effective with that EX Plus. And the cool thing about Lightning is that everybody who starts the game has the chance to unlock her because she's a story character, and her EX weapon is actually available in the EX token shop coming from the Dimensions End, where you get the 10 tokens and you can actually exchange it there. So Lightning is one character who has similar functions, who's also pretty powerful if you decide to pass on Aranea. Another character that I'll recommend to you is General Leo, who is a story character. He comes out, I believe, Act 2, Chapter 8. He has a 2-turn delay on his skill. He has a frame debuff where if it's applied to that target, you deal more damage to that target. So he also has Brave Battery coming from both of his abilities, whereas Aranea actually doesn't have that, and he also gets a free skill usage after he uses his EX. So General Leo is going to be another option for you guys if you decide to pass on Aranea. And then the third option that I'll let you guys know of if you decide to pass on this character is going to be Vayne when he gets his EX Plus weapon. Vayne, as we already know, was like the ultimate cheat code when it came to controlling turns. He was so powerful when he first came out, and he becomes even more powerful when he gets his EX Plus weapon. He doesn't get a rework, but that EX Plus weapon really fixes pretty much his damage output, because that was like one of the issues with the character, and it just puts him on a whole nother level, and he's a great alternative if you decide to pass on Aranea. Alright guys, well this is going to conclude this video about my post Aranea debut thoughts. Hopefully it helps you guys out, especially since the banner is still live. If you decide you want to pull for her, or if you still want to pass on her, whichever, it's just here to help you guys out. Thank you again for watching. This is 40 the Broadway Saiyan. Stay tuned for the next video, and mahal everyone.